Hi there, welcome to Specifically Solo. My name is Jared Boomer, and this is a channel that focuses specifically, as the name says, on solo modes for board games. And we're kind of going to go through some of the different solo modes in games, take a look at what makes them unique and what makes them some of my favorite solo modes in games. So that's all coming up here on the channel. But today I wanted to talk about something that I think we all have, and that is a shelf of shame. Things that you have not played, that you want to get played, that for some reason just haven't gotten to the table. And so today I'm going to count down my top 5 shelf of shame games that I want to play here in 2024. These all have solo modes. In fact, some of them have very robust solo modes, and I've heard a lot about the solo modes in these games. So I want to check them all out sometime this year in 2024. So let's get right into it and start with number 5. And number 5 is going to be an expansion for a game that I've already played a lot and I really like, but I have not played this expansion, and that's Dune Imperium Rise of Ix. And so this expansion for Dune Imperium adds some technology, it adds some more things that are going on like a lot of expansions do, but I've heard this expansion is very good for Dune Imperium, but for some reason I just have not gotten it to the table yet. I received it as a birthday present a couple of months ago from a great friend, and I just have not gotten this to the table, and I really want to do that here in 2024. Again, I love Dune Imperium. I think the solo mode for Dune Imperium is really, really solid. It's really tight, and it always, every time I've played Dune Imperium solo, it always comes down to the last couple of turns until you figure out who's going to win the game, and that's something that I really like when there's that much tension in a solo mode, especially for a game like Dune, which is very thematic and you're trying to control the spice and control worker placement areas and build your deck up as well. So this expansion is one that I really want to play here in 2024. So that's number 5, the expansion Rise of Ix for Dune Imperium. Number 4 on the list is a game and a part of trilogy of games, and I've played the other 2 games in this trilogy, but I have not played this one yet, and that is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. So this is a game from Shem Phillips, Garphill Games. I have played the other 2 in this series, Architects of the West Kingdom, which is probably one of my favorite solo games to play. It's very, very fun. Worker placement. All 3 of these games are doing things with worker placement. Architects is a great game. I've also played Paladins of the West Kingdom a couple times as well, and I really enjoy that. And that one's a little bit more complex than Architects, so I'm interested to see the complexity of Viscounts. Again, I just have not gotten this to the table. Garphill Games, their solo modes are usually really, really good and really solid and not too difficult to operate, but still really act like a player playing the game, which is what you want from a solo mode. So I'm excited to check out Viscounts of the West Kingdom. That's my number 4 game I want to get to the table here in 2024. My number 3 game is a Daniele Tascini, Simone Luciani game from Board and Dice. Again, one that I picked up a couple of months ago, but just have not been able to get to the table for whatever reason. The solo mode's done by David Turczi, who's done a bunch of solo modes, and this is a big, heavy box. This is Board and Dice's Teletum. So this is number 3 on my list. Teletum is a game where you're doing a bunch of different stuff. You're a merchant trying to gain some influence, and you're going around the board. You're doing a lot of different things. David Turczi does some great solo modes for other games that I've really enjoyed, and I really like Board and Dice games. Teotihuacan, I really enjoy that game. I've also played Terracotta Army solo, and that is really fun. So I'm really interested in checking out Teletum, or Tyletum. I think it's Teletum, though. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce this one. And there looks like there's a lot going on in this game. This looks kind of complex, which is maybe one of the reasons that I have not gotten it to the table in the time I've had it yet, but I'm hoping in 2024 that I can get it to the table and that I can check it out and get it played a couple of times. Because again, it looks like a really solid game. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. Solo mode done by a guy that has done a bunch of solo modes for a lot of games that are really, really good. So that is my number 3 on the list. My number 2, actually, is another Simone Luciani game. This is from Thundergrift Games, and this is Darwin's Journey. Darwin's Journey, another worker placement game where you are playing as Charles Darwin, and you're exploring islands and you're trying to research creatures and transport them to the museum, and there's a ship aspect of it as well, trying to, get points. So this one looks really interesting. I've heard a lot about this. I saw this at my local game store, and I did not back this when it was on crowdfunding, which I know it was, and it was a very popular crowdfunding campaign. So I have not gotten this one to the table yet either. I've heard a lot about this game though, and I've heard that it's very fun and also kind of brain burny. So we'll see how well that goes over. And I've heard the expansion for this one is also really, really good. But I want to obviously play the base game a couple times first before I throw the expansion in. So that's my number 2, Darwin's Journey from Thundergriff Games. And then my number 1 is an expansion for a very, very popular solo game. It's been very popular in the solo board gaming community for a couple of years now. It had one expansion come out. This is the second expansion for this game, and that is The Lost Ruins of Arnak, The Missing Expedition from CGE. This was a Gen Con release. I picked it up at Gen Con back in 2023, and I was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to play this, and it's going to have a campaign in it. It's going to be so fun. And for some reason, as you can tell, the shrink is still on the box. I have not even opened this yet, and I want to make that happen here in 2024. I want to get this one played. So this is really interesting for The Lost Ruins of Arnak because it turns the game from a competitive nature into a cooperative nature, and I really enjoy cooperative games. I think that's a really cool concept where you're all working together to make something happen, to achieve a goal, to get things done. And Lost Ruins of Arnak is a very popular solo game. If you have not played Lost Ruins of Arnak, highly would suggest it. It is very, very fun solo. I've played it in a group as well, but honestly, I really like the solo mode for Lost Ruins of Arnak. It is so, so easy. Literally, you just flip a tile. That's going to tell you what the worker is going to do. It's going to go cover up some spots on the board in the base game, and it's super duper simple to operate, which is one thing that I really enjoy about it. And I love playing it and trying to find new strategies and different ways to win. So this adds a campaign to Lost Ruins of Arnak, and I do really like campaign games. This is a pretty short campaign. I think it's a 6-game campaign. Yes, it is. 6-game campaign. Comes with some new leaders as well, some new temples, which is really cool. Also, of course, other cards to add to Lost Ruins of Arnak because there's so many cards in the game already. This is just going to beef up your cards for Lost Ruins of Arnak. So this is the one that, to me, the one I really want to get played in 2024 that's on my shelf of shame. And I want to go through the whole campaign, and I've heard that it does some different things with Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is really, really cool. So that's my number 1 for 2024 on my shelf of shame. That's the stuff I want to get played in 2024. So comment below on this video. Tell me what's on your shelf of shame that you want to have happen in 2024. Maybe it's a game that you have never played, or it could also be a game that you played years ago that you're like, man, I really need to get that back to the table. I really want to check that one out again. So let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks so much for watching.